Look at me surrounded by books. I love
Isn't this
it.
a happy
I love
thing?
it. Plus, there's a lot of books that I like on these shelves that I've read. They're really great. Actually, even one that I'm going to recommend. Okay, I have two separate piles here. One is for Christmas, or I guess like Advent Christmas. And the other one would be, okay, if you want to start the new year off good. Okay, you paying attention here. All right. This, some of these are oldie goldies, my favorites that I read every year. Some are newly acquired that I've just read recently, so they're going on my to-read list, you know, for, yeah, favorite books for Christmas. Sister Christine Virginia used to have, like, she'd always read Charles Dickens over again. I don't know how you could read that every single year, but she would read, you know, yeah, Christmas Carol. So my favorite one was Carol Houselander's book, The Read of God, which they just reprinted. They used to have it in a skinny little blue paperback. Are you following?
Yeah.
Okay. A skinny little blue paperback that was very hard to read. Now, Ave Maria Press picked it up, and it's in this really great readable for people who have bifocals and don't like to strain anymore. And it's one of my favorite books, so even though I have it, I'm going to get myself a copy of this one because it's really nice to read now. But anyhow, this is a perfect Advent book. It didn't make it in our Magalog, unfortunately, because I thought it was out of print. I was happily surprised when I saw 4 copies of it come, okay? I was so happy to see it again. But this is a classic. It's one of those that I have 2 books that I read every year. This is one of them for Advent. The other one is Heart of the World by Von Balthasar. I saved that for Holy Week. But this is like my must-read, so I have to read this one again. This one I read because the movie is coming out, and I was curious to see what is this book. You know, is it just, I don't know, a take on the movie or something with the nativity story that's coming out? Actually, it ends up being a very nice Advent book too, because it's Mary's journey. It's like taking the journey with Mary, and since Advent is a journey, like for instance, it has Mary's journey of everyday life, Mary's journey of faith, Mary's journey of surrender, Mary's journey to Elizabeth. So it's the whole idea of journey, but going along with Mary through Advent. And it's written by different people, and one of our sisters wrote one of them, Sister Marie Paul wrote one. So it's a combination of religious women, mothers, grandmothers, professionals, and their take on, you know, that aspect of Mary's journey, which is really delightful. So it's a short book. I read it in a couple days. I mean, I gobble books, but I mean, you could really use this for Lent as a Lenten journey, but that's another one that I like. This one, believe it or not, we've had it for years, but since it's a hidden treasure and most people don't know about it, I would highly recommend it. It's called Mary, Human and Holy, and it has they're extremely short chapters, maybe 2 or 3 pages. But there's one chapter in here on, let me see, Woman in Waiting. So it's all different aspects of the Blessed Mother. But since Advent to me is like the waiting time of year, this would be a nice little Advent companion to taking Advent with Mary. What I also like is the price. Forgive me for saying so, but this is about the price of a nice Christmas card. Really, it's $5.95. So if you, instead of getting a Christmas card that somebody's going to toss, buy a stack of these and give them out to your friends. They'll keep it for the year. You know what I'm saying? And it's pocket size. It's very portable, but I like it. It's sweet. It's unpretentious. It's very down to earth. But it's how to get to know Mary, you know, and how she can be your companion. It's a sweet little book. I love that one. Now this one, I just the reason I discovered this book. Can you see it? It's called Approaching Christmas. Now, I have a confession to make because this book arrived in our book center stacks of it. I said, why do we have 20 of this book? Okay, I know it's a Christmas book, but why do we have 20? And it wasn't until I decided to read it and find out what it was about that I realized it's a Pauline book. So we printed this book. Shame on me. I didn't know that. It was a pleasant surprise when I actually opened it up. I said, what are you going to do? Another Christmas book, another gifty Christmas book, and I wanted to know actually how to sell it. You know, how am I going to give this book? I ended up reading the whole thing over a weekend retreat, and it was just so refreshing. It was it's all the things you do during Christmas, and the lady that wrote it is Jane Williams. She's the wife of the Archbishop of Canterbury, and it's her reminiscences of what her family did at Christmas. It has, like, for instance, the Christmas spirit, making lists, decorations, gifts, Christmas trees, music, food. I love the chapter on food. I said, I've never really seen, an Advent focus up on food, but I can identify with that. Ask anybody who knows me. Family, Christmas Eve, and Epiphany. But the neat thing is it could be very pious, but it's not. It's like what she says is there's something very substantial to it, and it really like refocuses what Advent and Christmas is about, but without making it sentimental or sugary pious. I don't know exactly how to phrase that. You've read certain books, I'm sure, that it's like, oh, it's nice, but I don't get this, like, oh yeah, we used to do that at home, that's really nice, but see, there was more to it. And the whole idea about gift and how Jesus is the, God's way of giving gifts, I don't know, it's seeing it from a beautiful perspective with a lot of familiar memories as well. So anyhow, this is another one. It's $14.95, but I almost feel like, putting a couple aside for my friends. Some of my family who's not really, really religious, and that's most of my family actually, but I think they could identify with a lot of the family type things about Christmas, and in the meantime, they're being given a message that isn't so pious that they would find it hard to swallow, but it would remind them of the whole meaning of Christmas and the reason for all the traditions that we have in the family and that go on from year to year, but might become commercial or whatever. This like refocuses it back on what it's really all about, but in a way that I think they would find acceptable and not, oh, somebody's preaching at me. So it has beautiful artwork from, from all over the world. And again, I was flipping through it saying, well, that's nice, but I wonder why they picked that. There's all kinds of odd art pieces, but when you're reading it, the art and the text flows together so well. Honestly, really, it's good. I would get a couple for people that, there's just so many people in my family that, you want to get them something that has the meaning of the season, but that's still going to be, something that they would find acceptable. And this is it. This is really, really nice. So, it's our book too. Okay, that